This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boneyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's Your Choice. Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Come to our cruise-ins this summer on the second Tuesday of the month, June through September. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. CW Tree Trimming, LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area. We offer a senior citizen and veteran discount. Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs, and they even have a conference room that you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present you the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. As if you're a regular viewer, you know where I'm at. I'm inside the Henry County Courthouse in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. It is Thursday, so it's a Board of Supervisors meeting day, and a lot was discussed. A lot was on the agenda, including the second reading of the Alternative Energy Overlay Ordinance, and you'll get to see that and hear that firsthand. And without any more time spent here, let's get to the meeting.
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll call this meeting to order of the Henry County Board of Supervisors on June 19th, 2025. First thing is to approve the agenda. Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Yes, sir.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. We have the minutes of June 12th, 2025 before us. A motion to approve them.
Make a motion to approve with discussion.
Is there a second?
I'd second.
Okay, discussion?
Yeah, the concern I have here is where we had talked with Sheriff McNaney in reference to allowing him to get outside counsel. I think we very specifically talked about that being with ILEA only, and making sure that we have a reference in there for future, so that we know, or anybody else knows that this is one specific situation.
You can make a motion to amend the minutes to add that specific language to it.
Do you have any concerns?
I think that was your motion, right?
It will be my
No,
motion.
discussion.
It will be my motion.
On the other part, was there a date that needs to be inserted on that at all?
Yeah, we had talked about, House File 862 was initiated on the 15th of May, I believe, so I think that was the discussion, is that we would make a note that beginning the 15th of May, we would work with the sheriff and allow him to utilize that date from financial aspect.
So hearing that, there's no motion to amend.
Yeah, if you don't have any more discussion on that, I would make a motion to amend the minutes by adding the ILEA reference only, and then making sure that we reference 15th of May as the beginning date of any legal fees or any financial obligations.
And along with that, I think like an invoice attachment for services rendered, that way we could attach that to it and create that paper trail for that expenditure.
Is that part of your motion?
I'll make that part of my motion.
Sure.
Absolutely. Those three items.
Second?
Yes.
Second. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion to approve the minutes then, with that correction. or actually not just a correction, but an addition. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Yes.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Jake, you are next, please.
Alright, I have a couple motions here. So the first motion would be 15-2025-20, that a memorandum of understanding between the city of Mount Pleasant and Henry County for a project on Winfield Avenue from Broadway Street to Grand Avenue is hereby approved. It is further moved that the chairman of the Henry County Board of Supervisors is hereby authorized to execute the agreement.
So, someone would like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion. I was just trying to put that up here.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None.
Okay. And you finish that up, I'd like to also entertain a motion, 16-2025-20, with the county engineer's recommendation that Travis Fett be promoted to the position of equipment operator 2 within the road department effective July 1, 2025.
I'll make that motion on your recommendation, Lee.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Just give you a little background on that. So a lot of our new employees, when they come in as an equipment 1 operator. In this position that he's been working in is an equipment operator 2 position. The training side of it has come along. He has passed a good review with Jared and I. So we sat down with him and talked through his things, and he's ready to move on. He's become more official.
And how long's it been with him?
He's asking no questions. So just a little over a year.
I like keep young.
I know. That's good. That's good.
Prepared next time.
I know. Probably like a month. Yes, it's a little over a year now, so yeah, he's done a good job. And he's running one of the more difficult pieces of equipment that we have. Particularly also, there's a lot of.
Was he the one that did it?
Yeah, so it takes a little while to get a good feel for that machine, and he's doing a good job.
All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carried.
Okay. All right. So. Permits. I had 2 permits here. They're both with Access Energy, and they are services to new homes. So one's on Quincy Avenue, and then the other one is on Lexington Avenue. Sign those. Maintenance, shouldering. Last week and into this week, we've been shouldering. I'm focused on Oakland Mills. We got Oakland Mills done this week, and last week we worked on Franklin Avenue and 235th Street. And so we're putting a little pause on that. We are looking at doing some work on Goodyear Road next, but we're gonna actually cut out some of the earth shoulders that are out there and put more rock, and mainly on that north-south section just north of 235th Street. So I'm getting off that, but that's the next road that we're gonna be working on, depending on some scheduling issues that we might have. But the shouldering overall, that's went really well. We have been maintenance crew this week. We're hauling sand to stockpile. We had Denko working on Racine Avenue doing a project, and we have to stand on that. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. But our trucks had to help haul sand for Monday and Tuesday to stockpile that for their operation. Blade operators were blading roads, and we've been resurfacing rock. So if they weren't hauling sand, they were in the blades, or if they weren't shouldering. We kind of had our blade guys moving around quite a bit, but today we're resurfacing, and yesterday we're resurfacing rock on certain territories. Spraying noxious weeds and working on stone shoulders, again, just that continuation. Most of the stone shoulders are done now. It's more about the noxious weeds and kind of off and on again. Eventually we'll be moving to some brush spraying, to take care of some projects that we have done, some trimming and clearing. One of those roads would be the New London Road there south of New London that we'll be working on. Mowing, we are approximately 3/4 complete for our first round of mowing gravel roads. So we are on the west end of the county now. It's actually the north and west end. And we feel like we'll be done sometime next week. And then we will start round 2, and we will also be starting our second round on paved roads. So we actually have 3 mowers working this week to work on mowing, so that's been good. So yeah, that's the maintenance updates. Miscellaneous construction. Denko is the one I'll talk about first here. So they completed some initial work this week. We did our scrub seal on Racine Avenue, and that's from Winfield Avenue up to Mount Union. And they put oil down, they scrubbed the oil into the surface, and then they put sand on top of it. On Monday, the operation went pretty smooth. On Tuesday, they got done, and at the south end, we had some tracking that was going on. So we had to come back and put the sand back on the road on that southbound lane. The rain yesterday that we had some water standing in places and moving. This morning, with the rain being gone, traffic driving on it, it's back to where it's okay. It is a mess, but we're a little bit leery of pulling that sand off right now with some of the heat that's coming on. So we're kind of evaluating that. We'll make that decision tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be next week, and then we will be doing our own centerline painting on that operation. So again, this is a new product I haven't used before. We were looking at it from the standpoint of getting a good seal on the actual surface itself, as that road has got some age to it. Trying to extend our life out that five more years, just from a funding perspective. So we may get some calls about that and stuff. Again, we've only had actually a few. I talked to some of the neighborhood people out there that just to kind of let them know that we're not done yet, but it was kind of with the rain and stuff, it didn't go well yesterday, so, or last night. But today, this morning at 6 o'clock when I drove through there, everything kind of settled out, water's gone, the sand's good, so we're gonna let traffic drive on it, and then we'll look at getting the sand blown off.
It's kind of the same situation in Jefferson County.
No, not quite the same.
Okay.
So different products. The oil is a different product, but the heat and different things like that definitely attribute to it, but there are different materials that we're using in there. But yeah, and again, ours is with a contractor, with the sub, so they're doing the work, and that's their responsibility on different areas. Stop talking, sorry. Next, any more questions on that one? I don't know if you guys have heard anything, but I just wanted to keep it filled.
Well, we heard a little bit of the Jefferson County situation where people were upset about the stuff sticking to the bottom of their vehicle.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what Chad's probably alluding to.
They're just, yeah, I mean, obviously, we're fortunate it didn't get that far away. I think at 2 o'clock I drove through and it wasn't doing it, by 3 o'clock it was. And so we had them back out there by a little after 4, put the sand back on, so. And we were talking a relatively short section. Obviously, they have a lot of I mean, that's a 16-mile project, so I mean, they have a lot going on, and the weather hasn't cooperated very well. So I mean, those are things that, do. Just as a side note, we did Old 34 with them, and the section that we did with them on ours were fine. So that's just conditions that you run into, but on our part with our sand that we did, the same operation, we had the right weather, it worked out. It seems to work pretty good on our section, so. Next week, this is the good news. So next week, we'll be bringing up an amendment to our 5-year program for fiscal year 26. So back in January, I came to you guys, actually it was January to do the budget, and then March we do the DOT budget. We're gonna be amending our budget before it ever starts. That's kind of unusual, but we have an opportunity to apply for a fiscal year 25 competitive highway bridge program. They call it a CHBP grant. The grant is due on August 4th. Henry County and the city of Mount Pleasant will both be submitting projects into this. So it's kind of a big deal for the whole county in general. And these were pre-selected projects by the Iowa County Engineers Grants Committee that I'm actually part of, but we looked at bridges across the whole state of Iowa on counties, and we're putting a package together, and one of our bridges and one of the city's structures got included in it. So we have to amend our program, and the reason for that amendment is to reallocate how we were funding the project. And so the project that we're looking at is Iowa Avenue Bridge here north of town, Bridge 215. So roughly it's slated for around a $1.5 million project. So if we can get that funded through this grant, that's a big boost to our bridge program. So we will be coming back later with a 28E agreement that we did very similar to our RAISE grant that we applied for, that we were successful in. This one actually probably should have, hopefully we should be successful again on this one. Is kind of the verbiage that we're looking at. So, just want to give you a heads up that we will have that on the agenda. That is to amend that so that we can move forward with that project. There will be some things that we'll be asking of you guys, like support letters and different things, just like we did when we did the RAISE grant. So, and that's a pretty short timeline. I think when we did the RAISE grant, we had a lot more time with the way the federal government, which we know for this came out pretty late and it says, put your stuff together. So we're kind of jumping. I think we've had several meetings and the committee's been working pretty hard to try to get all this put together. So
That's good news.
yeah, no, great news. Just the opportunity to have another way to fund a bridge extends our own bridge funds that we have to use on other bridges. So that was my final comment.
Have a motorcycle water crossing.
Yeah, you just put that in minutes, I guess, right? Yeah, so I'll stay out of that one. I'll wait till I'm directed. So, thank you guys.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Mark? Yeah. Why Jake's still here. I had some counterparts over this last couple of weeks, doing some projects and stuff, and we was doing around the county. And my counterparts commended, our road department on how well the shoulders and the sides of the roads looked and how wide they were. And, they said that would not happen in their county. And they were really, appreciative and, complimentary of the road department on how they're taking care of the shoulders and sides of the roads. So I just wanted to let Jake know that.
Thank you. I'll pass that on. My guys do good work, so appreciate it.
Thank you, Walt. Next on our agenda is not present yet. So
I texted him, he said he is a couple minutes out, so
we'll just
could we move to a?
we'll move on to the next one
Yeah.
and come back with that. Is that all right, Steve?
Sure.
All right. Trey, you are up, sir. This is a conversation I've had with Pastor Hegar on some issues that he was, not issues, but things that he's been doing, and I invited him in to give us an update, and he is having some questions for us, if we would be willing to be a participant in any way legally. We don't know everything yet, but we're working towards that. So with that, Trey, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So my name's Trey Hegar. I'm the pastor of First Presbyterian Church, and this is a project that I've started on to help with special needs. So there's a couple parts to this. One is I handed you a sheet for the cost of care. So I have a special needs son, Hudson. He's age 13. He's fully dependent for all of his care. He's nonverbal and has epilepsy and cerebral palsy. The national median cost of non-medical home care for daily tasks and to provide continuous supervision, whether it's for a disabled child or an elderly senior, is $33 per hour. For 24/7 hour care, this equals $792 a day, $5,544 per week, $24,552 per month, $294,624 per year. The Iowa maximum Social Security disability per month is $4,018 or $48,216 per year. The Iowa Medicaid disability maximum monthly reimbursement is $3,138 or $37,000 a year. Total reimbursements are $85,872, leaving with the cost of $294, leaving a total of $208,000 not covered. 4 group homes have closed in Henry County for a loss of 15 Henry County residents. The cost of care is beyond the scope of any individual family, community, state, or federal government. in lieu of that, I purchased the Christamore House to be able to develop it for special needs care and services. We don't have, when school is not in, the kids who are in therapies have to go to either Fort Madison, Ottumwa, or Iowa City to receive physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. We have several families who, because of the severity of their children's needs, they have to go to Burlington for their educational purposes. So with the Christamore home, I'm in conversation with the child care center to move into the Christamore home if we come to agreement in those terms, which would expand their operations and allow them to increase their enrollment, which would help them to make budget. Right now, they're in a contract with the family video owners that is not conducive to their operations. And if they default on that, it would fall on the chamber to help pick it up. So if we can form a partnership, I could have them move into the Christamore home, increase their enrollment. And then what I would ask is, or what I'm asking for from the county, is if you would consider donating the land that is adjacent to the Christamore home property. This is on your second page in the handout. You can see the highlighted boxes there. Those are the two parcels of land. Oh, look, Mark's got it right up there.
No, Steve did that.
Yeah,
That's all right.
thank you.
You're
Thanks,
talking
Steve.
about, this parcel is what you currently own,
That-
and you're looking at this parcel,
And the one to the east of it there,
the small one or the large one,
the large one.
or both?
All of it, man.
All of them?
Yeah, I don't know why that middle one, it's just like a creek that runs down to the other creek, so. But those both have easements on it, so the lines are already there. I asked Robin, what the cost would be for the, taxpayers, and right now there's zero cost to the taxpayers. The purpose for the request would be to build, mixed market housing. So specifically to build group homes that would then be deeded to the foundation, along with the Christamore building. And the foundation would then oversee the property management. We hope to do senior housing, and then as well as group homes for some special needs kids. And this would be formed as a private nonprofit charity foundation, so that if it's a private charity, it's still nonprofit, but the board chooses the beneficiaries of the services versus being a public charity where you would have to let anybody use the services. So this way we can have memberships into the foundation. The plan is to, I'm working with Bob Bartles, who was the director of Hope Haven for 30 years and has done community developments and housing developments before. What we'll do is form a pooled trust to hold these assets in care of the beneficiaries that are chosen by the foundation. And typically what a foundation has to do by IRS standards is 5% of its annual income, either interest earned on an endowment or income earned from a business. 5% has to go back to the beneficiary's pooled trust. Another 5% would go to public charities. So the foundation would then pick community partners, nonprofit organizations to help support with their revenue. So that's my request. I think it would be a benefit to the county. The mixed market housing would bring in some tax revenue. They would also, those properties would help us support the ongoing cost of care for both seniors and our disabled neighbors.
And so this is all a private enterprise that you're talking about, that's not affiliated with the church or any
It is not.
other organization?
It is not.
And this all includes the plan that you have with Christamore, and right now your
plans with that facility when you purchased that? What were the plans for that?
Here are the pretty specs on that. So this is the renovation plans with the architect, the initial drawings. So we're in phase one for that planning stage. And the plan for that is to, if you've been in the Christamore House, it was set up for the adolescent at-risk youth. So the whole back part of the building is secure. So you have locked access. And what we hope to do is in the front part, since we have to have a commercial kitchen for the child care center anyway, we need a meal place to make our Meals on Wheels with Milestones Area Agency on Aging. Right now, they make the Henry County meals in Ottumwa. Cook drives from Burlington to Ottumwa and back. So I'm in conversation with them about finishing out the commercial kitchen that's already at the Christamore House and using that to do some other meal prep since we'll already be prepping meals for the kids. So we could also do that as what they call a congregational meal site for seniors so that they can play bridge like they used to do at Jerry's. You know, they would all sit around, play bridge, do that kind of stuff. So it could be a place that's like that. So we're working with the architects to make that front area like a small public dining cafe. The back part would be secured for the kids. It would also give them a large playground area. Right now, they just have that little fenced-in area like a dog run at the animal shelter we built. So we give them a much bigger space to run around there.
How many square feet is this current facility? Just more.
Little over 5,000. And what we found with the state regulations now with the special needs, seniors, things like that, they're putting all of those into one category for the new waiver system that they'll explain more about later this summer. But we can't do this as a residential facility. It would count as an institution, and that's something they frown upon for putting disabled folks who have both cognitive and physical disabilities into a building with unrelated persons. They would prefer that not more than 4 unrelated persons live in a home together. So we can use this for service providing and then to do some of the therapies and things like that in some instructional classrooms. And then the partnership would also help the child care center because the cost of child care, just like you see with the cost of home health care, is beyond the means of most families, and it's going up. So they're having a hard time staying afloat because of the staffing requirements. So with the property management side of it and the meal side of it, we would hopefully be able to help supplement their income as well to keep the staff paid well and to keep that turnover.
So you're anticipating building how many structures for those in special needs?
Yeah, so it would depend on the zoning and the acreage that we have available. So basically, what would be permittable by our zoning codes, right? How big of a
City zoning.
right. So it would require a survey and some meeting with the developers to do that. Bob Bartles has 2 developers that he's worked with before. We know how to get the grant funding for building the below market rate housing for the group home. We can get funding for that, for the market rate housing. We can almost get the whole place covered with the grants for the below market rate. For the market rate, there'll be some more work to get some developers involved and some partners to help with that. But the plan would be, about a half acre home per half acre, so probably 7 acres. So you could potentially have up to 14 dwellings. It could be duplexes, it could be single family homes. The group home would be more like, what's that, across from Addington Place, that neighborhood? What is that? Ashford. Yeah, thanks. Ashford Court, they have that big community home right in the middle. So that's kind of what our group homes would look like. I've toured some other special needs communities that have done this project in Iowa, Texas, Oklahoma, and I've seen what they have done, and it's kind of, each room has kind of like a mother-in-law suite, so they have their kind of self-contained, but then you have a bigger common space in the middle for common meals. So that would be our hope, is to build 2 of those, and then to build other housing along with it to help pay for it.
I'm not real familiar with this facility. Is this all one level?
It is,
Mhm.
and it's all
First one.
ADA accessible.
Okay, that's the next question.
Yeah,
And it currently is EDA.
it is, and we're working with Klinger and Associates and Wiley's on that project.
We've had a public hearing years ago, before these 2 gentlemen were even in office, about selling, land. We've had that, but in talking to our legal counsel, I think that we would probably have to have another public hearing, first of all, and also look into the aspect of, can we give the land away exactly? And, so that has not been answered, yet at all, Trey, so, it was one of the questions I came up with after discussion with you, and, we have not, I just brought it forth to the legal counsel just recently, so.
Yep.
Haven't got anything back on that yet, so, I don't wanna.
Nope.
Have you start going down a road that we can't help travel, okay,
Yep.
so.
This is just yeah, I'm fortunate that this is my job and that they encourage me to be a force for good for the whole community, and so this is a way where we're putting a few things together, and I get paid, I have a job, they know this is a side project, but they also understand that it goes right along with who I am and what I like to do for others.
How many acres total of county property is in this ask?
Right at 7. So it's according to the parcel report, which is right behind the map. So you have the 1 acreage, which is 2.5. It says, and the second one, I believe, so it might be just over 7.
The far right one, isn't that
6.8.
6.18 acres?
6.18 and 2.5. So just over 8. 8.6. And the Christamore House is on 5 acres.
Any other questions from Delaware?
Not at this point. Well, I guess just one thing. What's your you didn't say anything about a projected timeline, right?
Right, so right now, I knew that this would just be an initial request for your consideration. So it would be for the Christamore home. We met with an architect last week and the renovation team. Mid-July, we hope to come to an agreement on what the final renovation plans are, and to hopefully have this open for the turn of the school year. Ideally before Labor Day, most likely after Labor Day is late in the year, as we're getting with a lot of the grading that we'll have to do for some of the exits. So we hope that the Christamore home and Child Care Center, if we can come to terms, would be ready this fall. The other project, it would really just depend on how long, if we need to have a public hearing and go through some other steps to either sell or donate.
So this is a multi-faceted type, not request that you're making, but venture that you're looking towards.
It is, and so we would, the idea is, my son can't hold any assets, or he loses his Medicaid benefits when he turns 18. And it's the same for any of our family members. We have this spin down law where you can't hold more than $2,000 and receive public benefits. So this project allows us to develop a pooled trust group where we can have these assets and use the proceeds from the assets for expenses beyond housing and room and board. So it would be all of the other things that we have for a quality of life, which most of our seniors and disabled folks aren't able to do because all of their Medicaid and Social Security goes just to the room and board, as you saw with the cost of care. That wasn't even for clinical care, that was just supervised care. And so this allows us to have that pool trust to where we can provide and hold the housing for them, so other companies aren't holding the housing and closing them like we've seen in the past. It would be held by the foundation, which would be made up of the Christamore Home board with the Child Care Center members, as well as our special needs, we call it a Matthew 25 task force. They're a separate group from the church, kind of born out of it, but it's other community members with special needs kids. They would have a partner coalition to manage the property and the care.
And you said how many kids are today in the preschool that you're talking about over here?
40.
This time? And what would the potential be?
Right now with these renovations, we could have 52. So at $200 per kid, it would be about an $8,000 increase in revenue. We could expand beyond that if we use some of the other rooms, but the staffing to student ratio, this is kind of a good fit for the space.
Pretty significant increase.
It is.
And that facility was built and put together over at the video. Didn't the county use some ARPA funds for that? Like 250,000. And so that's all coming to an end here soon, from the sounds of it. Is that true?
We don't know. They may stay.
Rachel, do you have any?
Well,
thoughts on
actually I
that?
do. So just as a reminder, the chamber is the lease guarantor on that facility through February of 2026, so actually March 4th. It just came from a chamber meeting where we received an update, and I would say, the child care board, I cannot speak on their behalf, but they are exploring all options. They're in a no-no zone. All ideas are a good idea.
So potentially you're evaluating other locations, 2 or 3, or?
I'm not on that board. The only role that the chamber and anything I would do would be the lease guarantor, so that's why we ask for updates regularly from them, but I am not a part of the child care beyond that.
Okay. Good input, thank you.
So if that building is not used for childcare, that $250,000 is gone then?
As far as I know, I wasn't a part of the ARPA or when it started. There were your funds through the county were not the only state funded grants that facility used.
And how long has that been on?
5 years? Approximately, is that? I've lost track of time, right? I would say approximately 5 years.
Over 5.
4.5.
You said 250,000, is it?
Because it wasn't a 5-year contract, lease.
Correct, so
It
I
was
would,
running out.
to answer your question, Steve, you're about 4.5 years old.
Okay, thank you. Okay, lots of good conversation. Looks like you've been working hard at it.
Yep. I get after it, and so hopefully we can help out. Thank you.
We'll move to try to find out some more questions.
Yep.
And we'll get some answers and go from there.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Rachel, can you tell Lynn to come in, please?
Pardon, Lynn?
Lynn, who's outside there.
Yeah.
Lynn, come forward, please.
Well, first off, I apologize for my attire, but I got a reminder call about 10 minutes ago. This will be an update for our depot project down at Oakland. A lot of people have asked about the improvement, and there hasn't been a lot going on that you can see, but there has been quite a bit going on. And in the last 2 weeks, we have really gained a lot of ground. The first picture you show and you see is what the Oakland Mills Depot looked like when it was in service. The next picture you see is what we got to work with when we brought it in. Pretty rough, pretty ragged, but it is sitting there on its new platform. Cement pillars in the ground. The third picture, where you see highlighted in white, are corbels, 2 corbels built by a local guy, Ronnie Wise. He was able to build them for us, did a beautiful job on them. There is supposed to be some trim on each end of the building. The original trim is left on the south end. As you can see in this third picture, it's gone up at the top. He's going to be doing that for us too, and each end will be re-stenciled with the words Oakland Mills. Fourth picture, you can see that trim up at the top and the start of the OSB plywood. We weren't going to do that originally, but the building was so shaky and wobbly that we completely enclosed it in the plywood, and it made it incredibly strong. Also, looking down that picture, you can see the new lumber at the top. Well, what that was for was when the building was connected to the other building, they cut about 18 inches of the roof off. So, in keeping with trying to make it look original, we replaced that, and each one of those rafter extensions you see was made by Kevin Wellington. There was one left there at the very start of the picture, and Kevin was able to use that as a pattern. On the next picture, it shows he made 10 of those to replace them to look just like they were. That's why I got 2 carpenters on the team. Next picture, you see Kevin up on the ladder and a bit of the roof missing. The little depot, when it was hooked onto butches, caught fire back in the late 1880s from a camper fire right behind it, and it burned away that much of the structure. Well, it was put back together pretty shoddily, and we looked at it and we decided everything about this project, we've done it right. So we decided to tear it out and redo it, and we did, and it came up with a very nice end project. The next picture shows the 18 inches replaced on the overhang and the repairs made by Kevin and his crew where the fire had damaged it. A lot of these studs in the walls were cut short, weren't even, or missing. I suppose they just did what they had to do with what they had laying around. But anyway, it's done correctly now. The dormer you can see on that picture too is gone. And up just to the left center of that picture, you'll see a piece of tin. There's evidence of a wood stove in the building at one time. Okay, the next picture shows what I call tar paper, but it's called a weather guard. They usually put it on the first 3 feet of a structure to prevent ice dams. But as small as this building was, we covered the whole roof with it, just to make sure and try to prevent any leaks. The following shows the back of the building, all covered in the OSB It's screwed on there, so it's not going anywhere, and it made the building incredibly strong. And the final picture is how it is down there today. Completely covered in weather guard. The core bells are on to help support it. The mulch you see around it is not the final product. It's just there because it was a muddy day and I put it on there for the guys to work in. The Henry County Conservation guys came over and put gravel down in front of it for us, so we had a place to work. So we've gained a lot. We've got a little farther to go, but we're ready to put the roof on it now. The roof and painting. And as I mentioned before, the roof, the synthetic shingles have been donated by a company. They're different widths, different lengths and thicknesses, just like cedar shakes are. They're guaranteed for 50 years. So I'm looking for them to last about 5. And then I'll be done. So anyway, Kenny Huffaker is the one that arranged those shingles to get them for us. I've already got them, and we're just waiting for the guys to have some time, and then we'll put the shingles on, finish it up, and it'll be there. I like coming to these meetings just to update everybody on how it is, because there's so many rumors floating around that we're gonna move it. It's not gonna stay there. It's gonna be enclosed, fenced off. That's not true at all. So I'll help. If somebody asks questions, they'll ask one of you. And that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that very much.
If I can get your picture back, I got another meeting. Use them for.
Those are good pictures, very good.
Huh?
They're very good pictures.
The one on the front was given to me just by accident. The one we had was pretty poor, and I was talking to a guy about him, and he said, you know, my grandpa gave me a picture of that. And he said, it'll take me a while to find it, and he did find it, and that's what it was. And that's what Ron used to, as a picture, as a guide, to make the core bells and measurements and stuff. Did a wonderful job. Any questions for me?
You're doing a great job, Lynn, thank you.
Well, it's a crew doing it, I'm not. I'm
Well,
just,
you're organizing it.
yeah, but that's different than driving nails.
Slave driver.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Next on our agenda, we do have a state liquor license to approve. We'll just pass around noting that we have looked at it and have that in our minutes, so. Next is the second reading of the alternate energy overlay district.
And hopefully everybody has had an opportunity to read the copy that Joe has provided to us with those little scripter changes. It's also online. And I can pull that up real quick, but I think some of the things that we talked about were pretty incidental as we looked at it. I think Joe's got those corrected as well. Chad, stop me if you see something that I've missed. I think looking through it, we changed the verbiage. Everything looks good on page 6. Under 2, Joe's got that where we had an applicant versus administrator. That was changed, that looks correct. Everything looks good on page 6. The next area that I had was on page 11, and we had just a minor change there that we had made, going back to discussion that we had somehow missed on, again, page 11 under number 9 would have been item C. And it's little indent number 4. Where we're talking about no landfill within the Henry County planning area or shall remain on any property in Henry County. I think Mark, you take that verbiage a little more clear. I think we're good there. Going on through this, Chad, you have anything
Nope.
At that point, I think the next one was on, page 16, that was another, just a little administrative change there from a verbiage standpoint. Down towards the bottom under B as in beta, the zoning administrator, right here where my mouse is, we're talking about set forth in the ordinance, excuse me, and that was changed from application. So again, I think we're okay with that change. And those are the only little script verbiage changes that I'm aware of. Unless you have something else, Joe.
No, I don't.
And that's pretty straightforward, I think. And a pretty clear, precise document from this point forward, without any little script changes. What do you call those, Steve? Scribners?
Scrivener errors.
Scribner errors, there we go. So we got Scribner errors corrected.
Anything else before we go on? Entertain a motion on to approve the, second reading of the alternative energy overlay district.
I make a motion to approve the second reading on the alternative energy overlay.
Is there a second?
Yes, sir.
Discussion? I have one that stated last week, and I will state again this week. I have issues with this. In reading the one part, when we talked about the, bonding versus escrow. You know how I feel about that, first of all. The other portion would be, talking about, when if there's a natural disaster and things, reading this, it said it could go up to 50 miles away, they could reinforce, so we're looking at people from other states that could get money from Henry County's escrow. And with that is my comments. All those in favor of this second reading, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Or an aye, how we wanna have it, Robin. So, alright. Motion passes on this second reading of alternative energy overlay district.
Well, as I said at the beginning, a lot on the agenda here in Henry County at the Board of Supervisors meeting. Thank you for watching. Thank you to the Board of Supervisors and for the folks at Public Comment. Very important to bring this information to everyone. And I also want to thank my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane and the family of Jet Stops, CW Tree Service LLC, actually CW Tree Trimming LLC, Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.